This module focus is on the presentation of your research. How do you like to review materials? Would you rather read an article, watch a TED Talk, or look at an infographic? For infographic temples, you might want to see Canvas. And infographics have lots of different uses now, but you could present your research in this or any other format, and we'll look at several today. Presentations can be virtual, so you would submit them online or in person at the Graduate Research Symposium April 4th. I would encourage you to create a poster or an infographic and come to campus if you can. Students and faculty attend and provide helpful feedback. Many of our students are able to use this feedback in writing their conclusions and completing their paper. You can choose one of 3 formats this year. They have different due dates to the graduate school. The research poster and creative work would be sent 1 week prior. The research paper would be sent 2 weeks prior, which is a pretty close deadline, and the 3-minute thesis would be sent 1 minute prior, and that's a video. You'll choose one format this week and complete the proposal form and send that to me via email. So when you go to the website to pull the form, this is the graduate school link. It's going to have a little information about those 3 things and the workshop that's already happened. They will print your posters for free this year if you follow that link below. For the research proposal, you're going to type in your name and the title of your research. And then choose which format. You are the lead author, so you would click yes. I did not co-author your work, so you would click no. You probably did not receive IRB approval since this was just in your classroom, so you would highlight not applicable. You would describe sources of your data, like your students, and describe possible impact. For example, how has this impacted your teaching? Did you work with colleagues, and have you shared this with your school? And so very basic information. You're going to do this by Wednesday and email this to me. If you can't sign it and email it, just type your name in this box or line. I'll print them out and sign them and get them to the graduate school. So if you'll submit that by Wednesday, March the 15th. Also, in this module, there are resources for the poster presentations and other. So you're going to look at which one you want. And typically, as I said, people have done posters in the past, so there are more about posters in the research folder. There are templates, and we're going to go through some examples. There's also a video on how to create one, and you may have gone to the workshop a few days back. For any information, you want it to be specific enough so that someone either in the 3-minute video or in the paper, if they're going to read it, or look at your poster infographic, what is important, what it's about, what makes it unique, and how does it relate to other topics. So this is really a chance for you to shine and show off your work that you did in your classroom. You might want to consider having a handout or something for people to take with them. So if they wanted to replicate it, or if you have resources that you shared, you could also put a miniature of the poster, which I'll show in a minute, that template. And so if you printed it out on one side, you could have bullets or something on the other. Keep the poster short and simple. Less is more, they say, and people would rather read like 3 words and see pictures than big long sentences. So 60% graphics was the suggestion. Make it easy to understand and read. And so you will have people at this research symposium that are not educators. We have graduate students in science and social work and math, and so everyone may not be used to the acronyms we use in education. As I'll show you, one layout has 3 or 4 columns, and so usually they're typically vertical, but you could make them horizontal, and it's really up to you. Like an infographic now is much more creative than just a plain PowerPoint slide. So this one has a big graphic in the middle and then smaller boxes. You don't have to have a box for every part of your paper, but you do want to highlight the main things. And this is where you might point out what you think your findings are, and then as you talk to people on the 4th, you would come up with more things to write about in your conclusion and how to kind of finish your paper. There are some links there for different poster templates. Typically it's read from left to right, just like anything else you would do in school. And you want to make sure you have your name, UNCP on there somewhere. You could put that you're an elementary ed student. Briefly introduce your topic and your methods, any data that you collected. Charts and tables are always great. And conclusions are places that you want to talk to people about what your findings were and ask them questions, because they'll really give you good feedback. You don't have to have all of these things, but should have most. I think the biggest thing is to make it interesting. You want to lure people in to come talk to you about your research, because you're going to be the expert at that research symposium on whatever it is that you did. I think we've already talked about those things. There are lots of different sizes, and so when you stand back away from it, you want to be able to read it, just like if you're going to put something on the smart board. So these are some suggested point sizes. Don't go below anything under 18, which seems big, but not when you're printing it out. As far as colors, you can really print just about anything now. Like, you can see the text on this dark background, but you do want to avoid things that kind of run together. You can certainly use Pembroke colors if you'd like to, and you want to be consistent. But again, that may be helpful to pull people in. And I think we've already talked about some of these things. Make it viewable from at least 3 feet away so you could stand away from it. The text should support whatever the graphics are, and heavier lines and tables and charts, so like dark colors or bright colors will show up a little bit better. So those are a few slides, and this is in that research presentation folder. Here is an example of what these might look like. These are 2 students from the reading symposium last year, and so you could present yours across the state, and you can see they have a lot of text, and so think about that. I can't really read those from standing 3 feet away. I might can read their title, and so you may want to think about how much you're including on your poster. Let's see. It's that one. This is the template that is in Blackboard. It's very basic. I used something similar for my research years ago, and I can't find mine. You want to put your name and your title up at the top. You could put the UNC logo or something there, maybe even your school information. This is kind of that information about introducing your topic. And then in the middle, you would have what you did and your results, and then other resources. So you probably are not going to have this mathematical component in the middle. As far as the bibliography, be very brief. You're not going to cite everything, but if there are major topics that you want to include, you may want to look there. There are also some other templates on this when you download that in Blackboard. So as far as that poster folder goes, there are lots of different resources. We looked at the template today and these skills. So you may want to look at those. But as far as your choices, the other 2 are the research paper which you're working on. And you may not have complete by March 21st. So I would encourage you to be creative. And then the 3-minute thesis, which is a video. That's a new thing. And so it's kind of like doing a TED Talk. And I think you would still need a graphic, just like I'm showing text here and talking to you. I think having that poster or an infographic that you talk through for the 3-minute thesis would be helpful. So it's not just you standing in front of a camera. Whichever you decide is fine. If you can be there on the 4th, that'd be perfect. If not, you can always send it electronically. You have to do some form of presentation for your module this week. Let's see. The other part then is we're still working in TaskStream. I've updated points on these Blackboard reflections, and so you should be posting and replying to get full credit. So right now we're on this presentation discussion board. We've got one more after this about data analysis and conclusions on both of your projects. But also in TaskStream, you're working on those reflections, and I need to post more updates in those as well. So I think this week we're up to the depth of content pedagogical knowledge. That may be something from that ELE5900 curriculum course. It may be something specific from maybe the math and science or the English language arts course. So it's not just the content knowledge, but using that in a specific way, like how do you teach math and why you teach math that way. And so really developing those teaching skills so that they're, could be even using technology. It doesn't have to come from just one class if you have lots of evidences. And remember, when you are pulling those up, you want to look at the rubrics. Now, those are in task stream, but they're also in the discussion board. And as you're writing those reflections, I want you to think about how you're going to meet the standards in the rubric. So, for example, this week on pedagogical knowledge, here's the rubric that's in task stream. So I should have one paragraph about the pedagogical knowledge and understandings. And remember, we want to shoot for this 3, 4, or 5. So how can I consistently implement methods appropriate to the discipline, like we said, maybe in teaching math? How can I show that I adopt and develop curriculum that facilitates learning? Is there something from your county you've used? Or is there something you investigated and adapted? Any methods and strategies consistently addressing higher order thinking skills. So anything you can use to really promote those critical thinking skills. The second paragraph then is on pedagogical skills, using advanced methods, discipline-specific inquiry, 21st century learning skills. And so if you need those resources, let me know. This is more about those teaching strategies and how you're getting your students to incorporate those. Then you have a part on professional knowledge. This is where you are going to have to connect that about differentiating instruction versus whole class instruction, understanding discipline appropriate to the teaching. So again, why is math taught this way? You may want to cite some research there. Understand the role of assessment. And again, if you need to use more than one evidence, that's perfectly fine. And then professional dispositions. This is those attitudes and expectations about being educators, that we're meeting the needs of all learners, that your classroom is a student-focused environment, and you're maintaining high expectations. Don't just tell me you're doing it, but demonstrate how. And then a last paragraph about interdisciplinary connections. So how are you making connections from one topic to another? For example, one of my student teachers is currently teaching math using money. And so he's using real world problems to kind of make that learning more interesting to student, but to also can see that that is a social studies connection as they're talking about the community and using money and how that works in second grade. So you're going to have probably 5 or so paragraphs. They should be nice and meaty paragraphs with lots of information. And you're going to post those to task stream with the evidences from that class. Again, I will be posting feedback on those as soon as I can. So what we're working on this week is your presentation and how you want to decide to do that. And you're going to email that to me by March the 15th. Then you're going to post in the discussion board what your presentation is or what you think it should be. Again, this is just a draft, and you should be replying to your classmates by March the 27th. If no one is posted in there, it's okay to let me know that, but go back and check. Even if you post on the 20th, go back and check a couple of days later and see if somebody else has posted that you can reply to. I really think that helps your discussion. And then right now we're working on the pedagogical knowledge reflection. And so you're going to post in Blackboard and post in TaskStream during this module. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Thanks.